Hello everyone, got 10 dirty jokes for you today. 3 men sat around a table in a bar and talked about their wives. The first man says, "I think my wife is having an affair with an electrician. When I got home last night, I found a pair of pliers and some insulating tape behind the radiator in the bedroom. We've not had any work done on the house, and I can't think of any other way they could have got there." The second man says, "I think my wife is having an affair with a carpenter. Last night I found a tool belt in the laundry basket, and we've not had any renovations to the house in years." The third man says, "I'm in the same boat, but I don't think you two have it as bad as I do. My wife is having an affair with a horse." The 2 other men both look at him with a confused look and demand an explanation. Has he gone insane? Has she? What the heck was he talking about? The third man lies back and says, "It's very simple, boys. When I got home last night, I found a jockey hidden in the wardrobe." So an old accountant is on his deathbed. Summoning his last bit of strength, he lifts his head and whispers, "Is my beloved wife Sarah here with me?" And Sarah says, "Yes, I'm here." He then says, "Are my children, my wonderful children, are they here with me?" And they reply, "Yes, Father, we are here with you to see you breathe your last." And he says, "Are my brothers and sisters here with me as well?" And they too tell him that they're here. So the old man lays back quietly, closes his eyes, and says, "So if everybody is here, why is the light on in the kitchen?" So a man awoke one evening to discover prowlers in his storage shed. He immediately called 911, gave his address, to report the prowlers and possible burglary. The operator at the other end said, "Are they in your house?" He said they were not, only in his storage shed in back of the house. The operator said there were no cars available at that time. He thanked the operator, hung up the phone and counted to 30 and called again. "I just called you about prowlers in my storage shed." "Well, you do not have to worry, as I just shot them all dead." Within seconds there were 3 police cars, an ambulance and fire engine at the scene. After capturing the prowlers red-handed, the policeman asked the caller, "I thought you said you had shot them all." The man answered, "I thought you said there were no police available." So a 5-year-old girl went to visit her grandmother one day. She played with her dolls as Grandma dusted the furniture. At one point, she looked up and asked, "Grandma, how come you don't have a boyfriend?" Grandma replied, "Honey, my TV is my boyfriend. I can sit in my bedroom and watch it all day long. The TV evangelists keep me company and make me feel so good. The comedies make me laugh. I'm so happy with my TV as my boyfriend." Grandma turned on the TV and the picture was horrible. She started adjusting the knobs trying to get the picture in focus. Frustrated, she started hitting the back of the TV hoping to fix the problem. The little girl heard the doorbell ring, so she hurried to open the front door. When she opened the door, there stood Grandma's minister. The minister said, "Hello, young lady. Is your grandma home?" The little girl replied, "Yeah, she's in the bedroom banging her boyfriend." So 3 old men are discussing their failing memories. The first old man says, "Today I was at the top of the stairs, and I couldn't remember if I had just gone up or was about to go down." The second old man says, "I was sitting at the edge of my bed and I couldn't remember if I was about to sleep or just woke up." The third man scoffs and says, "My memory is as good as ever, knock on wood." With this he hits the table twice with his knuckle, then looks up in surprise and yells, "Who's there?" With their ailing mother needing constant medical supervision, a family decided to bring her to a very expensive and caring nursing home for a day to try it out. The next morning, the nurses bathed her, fed her a tasty breakfast, and set her in a chair at a window overlooking a lovely flower garden. She seemed okay, but after a while she slowly started to lean over sideways in her chair. Two attentive nurses immediately rushed up to catch her and straighten her out. Again, she seemed okay, but after a while she started to tilt to the other side. The nurses rushed back and once more brought her back upright. This went on all morning, with the dedicated nurses making sure the old woman didn't fall. Later, the family arrived to see how she was adjusting to her new home. "So, Mom, how is it here? Are they treating you all right?" they asked. "It's very nice," she replied. "Except they won't let you fart." So a man was taking his wife, who was pregnant with twins, to the hospital when, in his excitement, his car went out of control and crashed into an oak tree. Upon regaining consciousness, he saw his brother, a relentless world-class practical joker, sitting at his bedside with the warm grin he'd known since childhood. He asked his brother how his wife was, and his brother replied, "Don't worry, everybody is fine and you have a son and a daughter." But the hospital was in a real hurry to get the birth certificates filed, and since both you and your wife were unconscious, I named them for you. The husband was thinking to himself, "Oh no, what has he done now?" And he said with trepidation, "Well, what did you name them?" The brother replied, "I named the little girl Denise." The husband, relieved, said, "That's a very pretty name." "What did you come up with for my son?" "Denephew," the brother replied. When I was about 7 years old, I accompanied my father to the funeral of a co-worker of his, someone I didn't even know. When we got there, I stood in a corner waiting for the time to pass. A bitter-looking man approached me and said, "Enjoy life, kid. Enjoy it because time flies." Look at me now, I didn't enjoy it. Then he passed his hand over my head and left. My father, before leaving, took me with him to pay honors to his friend. When I looked in the coffin, I was horrified to see that the man in the coffin was the same man who had spoken to me. I was so traumatized I couldn't sleep properly. I had terrible nightmares. I was terrified of being alone. I saw many psychologists, endured much turmoil throughout my adolescent years. It got better as I aged, but I would still occasionally wake up screaming in fear. It was many years later when I discovered something remarkable that completely changed my life. That bastard had a twin. So a boy returns home from running an errand for his quarantined grandfather. He says, "Grandpa, I got all the groceries you wanted." Altogether, it came to $47.22. "Here's your change." Grandpa says, "My goodness, the world is expensive nowadays. When I was a boy your age, I could get 5 pounds of potatoes, 3 loaves of bread, 2 pounds of beef, a jug of milk, a tin of tobacco for my dad, and a handful of my favorite candies, all for about 5 cents. Can't do that today, though." "Why is that, Grandpa?" asks the boy. "Too many bloody cameras." So an old Canadian gentleman of 83 years old arrived in Paris by plane. At the French customs desk, the man took a few minutes to locate his passport in his carry-on bag. "You have been to France before, monsieur?" the customs officer asked, sarcastically. The elderly gentleman admitted he had been to France previously. "Then you should know enough to have your passport ready." The Canadian said, "The last time I was here, I didn't have to show it. Impossible. Canadians always have to show your passports on arrival in France. The Canadian senior gave the Frenchman a long, hard look. Then he quietly explained. Well, when I came ashore at Juno Beach on D-Day in 1944 to help liberate this country, I couldn't find a single Frenchman to show it to.